Hello, welcome back. This time we're going to work on the fork. This is the Showa Fork from the RVT1000R SP2. Those who are familiar with it, they're going to recognize the cap. It's pretty worked out, as you see. Yeah, this fork's been apart several times. Just for the maintenance, a little rework. The top out springs has been shortened. The 1.1 springs has been added eventually after trying the 1.1 or 1.0 from different brand than OEM. So yeah, this fork's been through a lot of work. As you can see, a little scratched up. The tubes was already sanded down, water sanded. They got pretty nasty scratches. The new bushings has been installed and new seals last year, and those tubes has been sanded down a little bit. The scratches are still visible. They so far, knock on wood, they don't cause the oil leak. But anyway, as usual, let's get to it. What we're gonna do is first we're gonna remove all the preload. So the compression preload is already removed. We want to make sure the rebound rods are. See, this is what it goes. They go about 3 turns. Yeah, we want them to get the needles in the bottom. We want to make sure they don't rub against the socket or they just kind of retract it. I should release this when they was still in the bike. Don't have any clamping. Oh, they're loose. They don't have a major torque. Great. At least that was the easy part. Okay. Let's drain the oil. Let's drain it here. We'll see the quality. So it's this oil has only 3 or 4 track days. I think 3. I think I've done 3 last season. Look at it. It was a brand new oil last season, eh? 3 track days. What's that in mileage terms? And the entire fork was nicely cleaned by a friend of mine. Was working on it. And as always, he washed it fork thoroughly. Make sure the valving is all clean from the metal shavings, and look at that. Yeah, and some people never touch their fork fluid. This is from yesterday. This is the I don't know if you can see it, whatever left from the shock oil. At least you can see through. It's dark, but you can see through. No metal shavings in it. Look at the fork. Sludge. Okay, other tube is draining right now. Let's try to drain this one as much as we can, and so we don't make too much mess. Still dripping a little bit. Okay, we're gonna take the oil away. So as you see, those 2 pins gotta line up with 2 holes. Okay, try to slide this in between. I'll show you guys in a sec. We're gonna do it a little different way. Need the axle. Okay, that should be fine. There you go, very mild torque. Couple foot-pounds literally. And here's our cap with the dumping rod. And let's release the spring. There you go. That was pretty easy and pretty quick. Let's see, put these guys away. Okay, it stays here. Let's leave it here for now. Here's the spring. These are race tech springs, and they're gonna be a more fluid coming out for sure from dampening rod. Let me just so since the RC51, my RC51 rides with the 1.1 springs, they don't require as much preload. With 1.0s, I needed way more preload to stay in the upper range of the sag. I'm still, I don't remember what's the sag I'm setting out. I think around 35 to 40. I think I get a hard time to set it to 30. For the track days, depend where people going these days with the sag. Last time we done it was many years ago. Since then, I'm not really touching it. Bikes rides okay. I'm using a whole travel. I like to have it riding a little bit higher during the stroke, because very often have like 5 mils left of the travel before it bottoms out. So maybe 10 mils just for safety. Oh, there it is. So we're using 3 washers. It's pretty much bare minimum. We'll get to it. Once we're going to be putting it together, we're going to measure everything. See what, if someone's interested, what kind of numbers we're getting with the spring preload and a couple other things. But that's in the assembly. Right now we're just going to take things apart, see what's inside. You guys see how it looks like, and see if you want to do it yourself. Those comes with the pretty decent pack. Comes with the springs from Racetech. Highly recommending. Again, if someone thinks that the RC51 has a progressive springs, it doesn't. I don't know where my springs are. Probably somewhere in the closet. They're identical. You can't say the difference. Which one is which one? From Racetech. So the only thing is you have to remember. Sometimes they have some. This one used to have the part number on it from Racetech. Not anymore. Anyway, where's my impact drive? There it is. I already set it up. 10 mil Allen. It's right in the bottom. And it's good to use the Allen because it makes things much easier. Again, there's going to be some more oil coming out, so let's get the container ready. Okay, look what's on the bottom, even worse. Okay, so normally, how you can say this shock was modified. It has no hydraulic bottom out stopper, or there used to be a piston that was going inside the chamber here, and slowly in controlled manner was releasing the fluid on the sides, and this way preventing bottom out. Right now I got a physical bottom out. Let's see if we got any damage to it, because we were bottoming out previously. Everything looks original so far. Okay, let's take this apart if we can we? Okay, we gotta remove the nut here. And original spring was way longer. Literally, original spring was sitting, I think we cut in halfway through. Probably this is the mark where it used to be the little scratch, where it used to be ending. There's a reasons why why Honda choose those long bottom out springs. They probably will be just fine if I will go right away to heavier springs, but that was, I was learning a lot about how the motorcycle suspension worked back then. I have the RC51 for I think 10 years right now. I love the bike, really nice bike. A little on a heavy side, but so much joy to ride it. Yeah, so the top of spring was much longer, and they're soft. They're rather squishy, and that was controlling the extension of the fork. That kind of predetermined where the fork was sitting on the travel, because it was kind of locked between those two springs, and then either one spring was giving up, the softer one, either the harder one, the main spring, was going down, obviously on the bumps and braking. And that kind of create progressiveness of the mainspring. So if you literally, if you think that your bike is bottoming out or rides a little too low in a travel, literally you can go to 1.1s or maybe 1.2s. I don't know, never tried the 1.2, so I can't say. And probably never touched the top out spring. But as again, up to someone who's maybe more knowledgeable than I am about the theory behind how the suspension works. Anyway, why we're doing this job is the main reason is why we get so far is the shims. The shim stack. I would like to revolve the shock a little bit without spending money on aftermarket piston and shim kit and spring loaded. It looks like a check valve to me. And that's gonna be rebound, because if you look at the shock, how it's built, this going up in the rebound cycle, then this shim's gonna open, because the oil gonna travel from this end, from the upper side of the piston, and pushing on the shim stack on the bottom. So that's a rebound. They're pretty soft. We could make them a little softer though. Again, what tire shows that the rebound is too slow, front and rear. It's kind of identical, so obviously it's very well balanced from factory. But it is the slow rebound. I mean the fast rebound is a little bit too slow. So we might want to look into the shim stack. Okay, guys, I'm gonna turn off the camera. Try to wrap my head around it and kind of come up with some decisions. Alright, I'll see you in a sec. Okay, we're gonna look into compression adjuster. So it is, as you see, here is just the it's literally a check valve for compression stroke. So when the shocks go to the bottom, when it travels, when the shock compresses, this just opens up and doesn't do anything. Got a very soft spring, so it literally doesn't control anything. So this is only the rebound. As we got a rebound shim stack, the bottom one that goes on the extension of the fork. If you look inside, we got some more compression shim stack here, and then I guess we're gonna look into it too at one point. So let's do first the. I think we're gonna take the rebound apart first, and then we're gonna get to compression. Maybe let's go to compression since we're already here. Here 17. Perfect. Oh no, okay. Okay, that one wasn't that bad. We're gonna put the body away, gonna just clean it up lightly, make sure we don't lose the O-rings. And that's our compression stack. Right now we cannot see really the direction where it goes, but essentially this is analogy. So if that would be one piston like we had on the rear shock, the rebound is on the bottom and then the compression is on the top, and then this is actually also on the top. So compression stack is actually remaining in the same order. You can see the little difference of it. It's because this one is not moving up and down in the shock body as it would if it would be on the road. Instead of some plastic seal on the piston, it just have an O-ring. And I got a check valve on the opposite side. Alright, let's take all these apart and think how we're gonna reshim it, how we're gonna readjust it. That we're gonna modify the so there's no preload. Well, the preload is only in the needle. It's gonna be the it's not really preload. It's just a bleed metered by the needle that closes the port inside the body. We actually might see it here coming up here. It's about 20 something turns now. We can't see it. No, we can't see it. Yes, the compression is a little bit stiffer than the rebound. Obviously, it works with the much greater forces. It looks pretty soft. It's a tiny valve, even though, but we might just flip the one shim or something just to see how much faster we can do it on the compression side, and we might pull one shim on the rebound as well, kind of flip it and see if we can make this open a little more. Right, let's get to work. Okay, that's honestly maybe 5 pounds of torque. It's a second number 10 and flat range number 10. And we're gonna take this compression stack apart. So we're just gonna go so disassembles. So this is the spring shim that preloads the check valve. Keep it close for us. The check valve shim itself. Let's put it on the side. Piston. Also come up with everything at once. Here's our piston. I don't think there's much to do on this one. Same design as the on the rear shock. Comes from same factory, so obviously. Looks like here already been lapped from the factory, or this is no, I think this is just lapped. It looks pretty nice. I don't think we're gonna do much to it. Maybe we're gonna drill it, we'll see. And this is our compression stack. And we're gonna go from the first one following the piston. These two are the same. There's a 3. These 3 are also identical. So we got a similar situation as we had on the rear shock, that there was essentially 9 shims that was creating a valving, 3 in each segment, 3 identical, plus clamping shims. And that's what it is. And this is the last one. So that's what we get. The sour shim stock. We might pull out 1, maybe 2. This is the dilemma. You see, it's very easy to overdo it, but probably gonna try with 2. Relocate them, put them on above the little one. It's very tiny. So that allows for a maximal flexing. The shims on pretty much entire shim is flexing, because the clamping shim is so tiny. If you put on this one, you can, I don't know if you guys see it, but anything that is not covered by this little shim, it's gonna be raising up under the fluid pressure. Okay, so I went through those shims again. Looked like there was still I found the 2 stock. So it's 2/17. Let me just measure so I'm not lying. Yeah, 2/17 for sure. The 2. I hope so. In the rear shock, they were in stock by 3 of each side. So okay, 2/17, and then we got 3/16. These are all the same. I already measured them. I got 3 of 15s. So I'm thinking remove these 2, relocate, and then build the stock out of these guys. So whereas the 3, we're gonna leave 2, and that should kind of as the velocity of the fluid increases and there's a pressure on these those 6 shims together, 3 and 3, and that they will control the opening of these 2 that works together as a 1. We kind of allow it for probably not as the curve was much steeper. I think we're gonna get lower the down, but we'll keep it, you know, the same curve as used to be. I hope so. By just removing 1 of each in those triple setups. So okay, let's put it together. We'll see what's gonna happen. Once we're gonna go riding, then we'll know if we were doing right or wrong. Okay, so these 2 I removed. They go away on the opposite side of the stock, and they will be non-functioning right now. So this is our clamping shim, super tiny. There's a guy above it. Pretty thick. I think this was a clamping shim. When I was taking it apart, I haven't noticed the proper layout. I think I'm gonna remove the another one from the other side, just for comparison, just to make sure that because these are all very flexible, and this guy is pretty solid. So this guy probably was the clamping shim. And this little fellow was there as a second stage. So you know what? We're gonna do like this. Screw it. We're gonna do like this. This is gonna be our clamping shim, the thick one. That's what it was. And then this is gonna be our blow up valve, I think, in this case. Okay, let's put this together. Let's see if this makes sense. Okay, so this is our working stock, and we're gonna be having enough legs to bend over that thin, super thin, tiny shim, but it will literally rest on this thick one here, as this one will not give up because it's much thicker. And I'm gonna kind of predetermine the opening of the shim stack under the load, and if the load increases, then it's gonna be much harder to bend it further. I think that's how it was designed. Or maybe in this case we're gonna add put the valve on, I mean the piston. See how they're gonna act. Let's see the angles, how they're opening compared to what it was. Yeah, they do bend a little further right now. And that's the question, if we haven't softened up excessively. So I got two shims removed from the stack. Maybe I should just remove one. Well, you know what? The good thing is this is it cannot be done on the track because we're gonna lose the oil. But it's still the whole shock doesn't have to be taken apart in order to replace this. So you can remove it, undo it. You know, there's not much work to it, literally, and relocate the shims. Let's leave it a little bit on the softer side. I'm aiming for the suspension to ride a little higher, as we're gonna soften up rebound as well. So we should have still sufficient travel to, with whatever the dampening it will be, soak the bumps. In the end, the springs are suspending the weight of the motorcycle, not the shocks, so we should be okay. Okay, let's close this. These were staggered. Okay, so that would be our shim stack. Let me just clean the threads. Quickly, we're going to put some Loctite on it, and we're going to put it back together. Okay, we got the threads cleaned up. The nut is cleaned up, it's dried. Okay, so again, piston, check valve. Okay, spacer. Okay, just a bit. I'm gonna put a blue on. Might have to go and come back here and rearrange things a little bit soon. So it has the thread is super tight on it anyway, so it's probably more than required. More than required anyway. Very light torque. Try to imitate the original torque. I don't have a specs for it. The service book doesn't really addresses the shimming. It's not part of the servicing a motorcycle. They didn't expect us to play with this here. Okay. Okay, got a very light torque. Maybe should put a red one, but obviously we don't want this goes loose. We wouldn't lose the nut because it comes from a very tight spot on the end. But if the nut will undo itself, you will entire shock gonna lose the preload entire as shim stacks, and it will just kind of will lose the dampening essentially. But again, I work with the blue one already. It's actually still pretty strong. Don't get me wrong, the blue one is still takes a little bit of effort to break it, so I think we're good. How's our stack here? Oh, it is pretty stiff. Once it's torqued properly. Before I was just holding it with the fingers, so couldn't create enough pressure. Yeah, this is still pretty stiff. So we got a 2 shims, so we had 2 17s, 3 16s, so this is 1 16 here, and we had 3 15s, and there's a 1 15 on the other side. Then is the teeny tiny for a second stage, or kind of that second stage. This one, I don't think this one had a stages. It's just a shim that give us a little bit extra space between the clamping shim, which is a little larger, and a super thin tiny shim will kind of allows for that initial opening. Predetermines where the shim bends, or how the shim stack really bends as a whole thing, and kind of limits that, because eventually once you reach the full bend again, for lack of a better term, it will rest on this larger shims that we remove it and put on the back. So, but I think we're gonna have a little bit further opening initially. So once we crack it open, it will kind of, you know, allow us for a little more flow. And again, tiny holes in the pistons will essentially determine what's the highest velocity we can achieve, and we cannot jump over that because it's essentially the piston limits that, so that's our safety factor. So we just don't go through the travel like crazy and bottom out super hard. Okay, this guy is done. The rebound. Okay, let's take the rebound apart and see what's happening here. Okay, 10 and 10 again. Let's see what kind of torques we're dealing here with. For now, just finger tight, honestly. Yeah, barely any torque. Wow. Yeah, so such a tiny assembly that no torque at all, literally. And that's been never done. I'm the first crazy guy digging with it. So let's take this shim stack apart. So again, nut, spacer, and our shim stack. So it was like that. So let's pay attention to a layout of the shims right now. As you can see, the clamping shim is the thicker, bigger shim, and then the little guy again, it's, so we put it back properly over there. I realized that last second. So this is our clamping shim, a little thicker, and these are the very small one that they're kind of controlling the how the allow for the initial bend of the entire shim stack before you start resting on this, and then on a larger diameter you're gonna have a harder time to bend just the tips of it. So okay, let's make sure we separate them correctly. So you can, I don't want to guess again, but it looks like we got less shims, which obviously would make sense for the, we separated, okay. For the rebound. Okay, let's see at the piston. Okay, I'm gonna have to sand this again, just the same idea as was on the... But honestly, there's no reason for me to remove it. I'll just leave it. Yeah, so this is just a check valve on this side. Nothing fancy. Just one shim, kind of centered on the... Okay. Exactly same piston. Here's the size of it. So what we got here? Where's our pick? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we don't have the... We got a little softer. So what we did actually to our compression, we put it where the rebound is right now. So now we had it 2, 3 and 3, and now we have 2, 2 and 2. So that's what I've done to it, and those 2 that they were in the, which we moved them here. If you guys following. So how about we on the rebound we remove 1 and 1. Is that going to be excessive? We're actually here for that faster rebound. So what we're going to do is we want to speed up the recovery of the shock after big hits. So when the shock is fully compressed and there's a lot of energy stored in the spring, it has so much energy that it actually can break through the shim stack. So it breaks through the shim stack, and as it loses they open up to a certain degree, and as it loses its energy, they closing, and maybe halfway over travel, maybe a third from bottom out. They will close completely, and then the rest is going to go through the needle settings. Right? We have the needle on the top of the shock, right? That was the settings, right? So that's going to control our fluid flow once the stacks are closed or near closed. Then they will kind of, at one point where these guys are closing completely, they will, remember that thing always flows. That needle always flows steady flow. So at one point they will overlap and kind of flow together until these were closed, and then just the needle will flow in the end. So there's not really crazy philosophy behind it. It's just doing it by eye isn't the right way of doing, but we're just gonna experiment, I guess. So let's remove those 2. We're gonna stay only with the 4 shims. That's gonna be super light. Holy crap. Okay, let's try it. Let's see what we're gonna get. So right now we're just gonna put it together without any cleaning or anything. Okay, the little one. Our clamping shim, and those 2 guys we're relocating right now. Okay, spacer and the nut. Okay, just bottom it out. Very light torque, honestly. Okay, let's see what's happening here. It is softer than the compression, that's for sure. It doesn't open as far though, it's interesting. Okay, I think we're gonna leave it what it is. Yeah. Okay, let me clean it up the whole thing again, and we're gonna put some Loctite on it, and I think they're gonna be putting it back together. Like it. So I'm using the gel one, the jelly medium strength. It's easier to control, it doesn't run all over the place. Okay, it has been cleaned up, dried. Oh, it's going crooked. Yeah, the beginning of the thread is kind of odd. Should sand it, but I actually wanted to have it kind of a safety that will prevent the nut from completely undoing itself. So that's why I'm leaving it the way it is. It's a little hard to start the nut right now, but okay, that's good. Oh yeah. Again, we gotta line it up. Still loose. We gotta make sure we line up the check valve. There we go. It's seated. Just hold it with the finger, and then we're gonna tighten up everything nicely. And then again, super light torque. Okay, bottom out. So as the bottom out, I don't know, quarter of a turn or less. Let me see if I'm not going too crazy with it. Yeah, it can flex. Okay, it can flex. Yeah, it kind of flex nicely. Yeah, if I crank it up super hard, it will literally drive that little shim, super thin shim, into the stock and causes the stock to kind of open on the edges. So it will always stay open, and plus it will be super stiff. It would have not much trouble left. Actually, you know what? Let me undo it and put maybe even less torque. Okay, what's gonna happen now? Yeah, that's kind of more comfortable. Okay, let me just snag it super light. Okay, just put them out, and I don't know, five or less foot-pounds of torque. Honestly, just super light. Oh well, hopefully that's gonna work. Okay, let's wipe these. I start putting it together. And minor torque. These are, I think, number 5 or 6 screws. They don't take more than 15 foot-pounds of torque. So if you got Loctite, we don't have to worry much. Make sure it's equal. I put around 10 pounds on them right now. Not a, you know, I could use a torque wrench, but it's not the first time. Okay, and then let's finish this guy. Yeah. So you got done revolving on the compression. We got revolved our rebound. This is pretty drained. It's not sipping any oil. Let's just wipe it nicely from the dirt. Top out spring. Again, kind of one end is narrower. That's where we cut it. It's wider. Narrower goes on the bottom, and this slides from the bottom side up. Okay, so it wasn't much headache. I literally just slide the spring in, and I could press it with the spring against the bottom casting, and and it went super smooth. It's all tight. We're gonna hit it with the gun lightly, and we try to torque it with by hand, just so we have an idea where are we with the torque numbers. Okay, this is spinning. Okay, I guess that's gonna be good for now. Again, be careful with those guns, guys. Like that particular half-inch dual is capable of 100 foot-pounds of torque. I was doing a suspension work on my car a couple of years ago with it, and it was a big balls, I think 19s or 21s or something, holding the struts together. And I crank it, you know, I held it for like 5-10 seconds and full trigger. Okay, that's it. Remember, it screws into aluminum. And then I want to torque it with hand. I put a wrench on it, giant, you know, wrench like this. Where is it? Something like this. And it turns out it was so tight I couldn't budge. I couldn't put any tighter. So then I couldn't remove it. Actually, I couldn't untie it, and I had to hit it with the gun, untie it lightly, tied it lightly again, and just go with the wrench again, just so I have an idea where we're going. Because probably if I leave it like that for a couple of years, I wouldn't be able to remove that strut anymore. Anyway, so the shock it's installed. It's in there. Let me just see if it's... Where's the dampening rod? Okay, let me just see if it's spinning. I'm gonna feel if I hold the... If I look at, I guess I'm not gonna be able to hold it myself, but if I look on the dampening rod, I should be able to see if it's the entire shock body, if the cartridge is turning. You know what? I doubt it because I cannot move it. This is good. This is pretty good. Okay, so this is you saw me. I wasn't washing it inside. It should be nice if it's rinsed. We're gonna put a fresh oil. The shocks, I mean the valving was already open and cleaned up. Sure, would be great if you rinse it, but as I say, 3 track days and it's so messy that it's gonna get messy anyway very soon. So. Okay. So we're gonna be adding a fluid. Or maybe let's wait with the fluid. See if I have an O-ring or something to deal with this guy. Unless I maybe put a Teflon tape around it. Just one rub. I know it's a heel-beel thing, but you know. Wait, it goes in. Okay. I don't know what to do with this. Why it was unscrewing. I think you maybe do one wrap of Teflon tape. For that's gonna probably come off anyway. Anyway, let me look around if I can find some. If I can find O-ring, less likely though. But let me see. As you see, the O-ring is off. That's the good news. Bad news is we don't know what it is. They just are bouncing all over the house, and I don't think I'm gonna ever find it. Probably my vacuum cleaner gonna find it one day. But I'm reminded that I used to use some fuel line from my RC car from many years ago. So this is 2 and 2.5 the size. We have some fuel line here. How about we gonna cut it at 2.5 and see if that can replace the O-ring. Let's see. Okay, this is our piece of fuel line. let's slide it over and okay, so we got this on. Okay, this is a little tight. We might put another one over it and see how it works. Okay, so we got two pieces of a fuel line sitting on it. Might be a little bit too thick. That would be the greatest choice obviously would be just to have a proper O-ring. Fortunately it's Sunday, there's nowhere to go. Yeah, I got a good resistance, so I think that's where it's gonna stay for now. Yeah, feels good. Okay, so after trying a couple different fuel lines, eventually I ended up finding the one with the right thickness of the wall diameter, and looks like this one as a single piece gives me the best option. Again, it's not the O-ring, but it does the job, and I guess it's gonna stay okay for a while here. So okay, so we got pretty much everything ready for assembly. We're gonna have to put fill the oil. For SP2 it's a half a liter, pretty much exact, but it's put on for 98 or something milliliters, half a liter. This is our bleeding tool. We're gonna need that, and how we're gonna do it is, while we have a compressed leg, we're gonna be adding a fluid about half a liter, a little less, and then we're gonna be aiming with for the 135 milliliters. I'm sorry, millimeters. From the top of the fork leg, fork tube, to the bottom. So we're gonna adjust our tool for 135 millimeters. I'm sorry, and we're gonna go from there. And we're just gonna close the entire thing. Drop the spring in, shims, and close it in. All right. I don't know if camera shows this, but literally 500 milliliters, and I set the level in the fluid level I set to 125, so I raised it 10 mils just in case, just to get a little bit more support, and you know, prevention to bottom out. 10 mils shouldn't be a problem, so might help, might not even notice. Okay, let's put the tube together, and that pretty much will conclude the video. Okay, I got already spring compressor mounted. 3 shims are dropped in the bottom, spring on the top of it, and then the upper spring spacer, for lack of a better term. It's all together. Right now it's just a matter of ratcheting it down the spring so I can have access to a dumping rod, so I can screw it here into the cap, which will hold the entire shock together as a one piece. Guess maybe I should leave the wire still on, but let's try to hook up to a safety wire. As you see, is pretty usable for different purposes. Okay, there it is. Okay, still need a little more. Okay, I can grab it, but I still need might be able to slide this on there. Yeah, there it is. So essentially now we can remove the preload, but we're just gonna leave it for now. That makes life much easier. Might be some fluid coming up. No, it's good. I guess we're gonna leave it here. Yeah, and by the way, that fuel line worked really good. I hope it's gonna last for a while. I think I'm gonna do the second leg just the same way. Cut a piece of the fuel line and use it instead of O-ring. So much more friction, very nice and tight, but you know, it's right where it should be. It feels like brand new. So we're gonna leave it that way. Okay, let's tie up the counter nut in the bottom. Don't need any massive torque. It's a number 14. It's aluminium thread, so again 15 foot-pounds roughly. We got everything on. We got the plastic black spacer on the bottom. So this is gonna. Okay, now this is dropping pretty loose, but let's remove the tension here. Watch out. Watch your face. Yeah, I didn't go far because it's held by a dumping rod right now. Up. Tube, I can already feel the damper works very nice. I haven't covered in oil, so super slippery. Let's put a socket. Again, once this is in the shock mounted, gotta get snug in once mounted in the motorcycle. Here it is, revolved with the fluid replaced, ready to go, ready to ramble. Thanks guys, ciao.